So synchronicity led me to hear about something called Sekh Em. And it was called the Theramai system, and it was spelled S-E-I-C-H-E-M. And the marketing material said that Sekh Em was including Reiki. It said Reiki was the earth energy. This particular literature, because not everybody says this about Sekh Em, but the Theramai system said that Sekh Em was Reiki, plus also the energy, not just of the earth of Reiki, but also water, fire and air. And it talked about it being a very Egyptian system, which really appealed to me, because I was very interested in Egypt. So I found myself doing this Theramai Sekh Em course, and by December 1990 I was a master at that. So that was earth, fire, water and air. And also Theramai did this system called Cartouche, which is where they initiated you into, I think, 25 different Egyptian symbols. So I found myself on a career into Egyptian healing. Next, I got called to go to Egypt. And this is another amazing synchronicity, because my sister phoned to tell me that she was going to Egypt and she really thought it was a good idea if I would go. And I had no desire to go, really, at all. I couldn't afford it. And so I kept saying no. And eventually she came back and said, well, you know, this is by invitation, so maybe if we just ask the lady who's taking the trip if you would be invited if you were going to go, then you might not be invited and then you can not go and feel fine about it. So if you followed that, you've done well. So the next thing was, she found out I was invited, of course. So, which I think was the lady's very clever marketing ploy. Made you feel very special. But anyway, I still didn't have the money to go. But I had a call from the lady who was running the trip, telling me that she had a message for me from Akhenaten. Have any of you heard of Akhenaten?
Yes.
He's the, well, sometimes known as the renegade pharaoh, but he was the pharaoh about 1450 BC, who, when he came into power, apparently history records him as abolishing the gods and only having the one sun god, but I don't actually think it was that, but that's what most people believe about him, and that's the general view. So her message from Akhenaten, which came through, she's a full channel, so it was over the phone, it was really booming. So, oh, dearly beloved, this is Akhenaten, summoning you to Egypt. You know, sort of thing. And she said, basically the long and short of it was that if I went back to Egypt, I'd remember everything. It's a bit difficult to say no then, isn't it? What do you think? So that was it. Off I went. And before the trip, my sister and I decided we would reattune each other into the Cartouche 25 symbols. We got together, we were so excited about Egypt, what were we going to take, what were we going to do on this trip. We suddenly noticed it was half an hour till my children got back from school and we hadn't done any of the 25 symbols. So it was a case of getting the 25 symbols each and quickly deciding which was the important one. Have you done that before? Quick bit of crisis management. So this was the symbol that got our attention, the Egyptian Ankh. So it's the equivalent of their cross, really. But you can see it's got the loop at the top. And while we were focusing on this symbol, my sister said, I think I've read somewhere that this symbol is an alternative to a Choku Ray. That might not mean anything to some of you, but if any of you are Reiki people and you've done level 2 and above, you would know that the Choku Ray is an empowerment symbol that's used in attunements and also used for healing as well. So this set something going in my mind, this idea that the Ankh was actually another form of empowerment. She then said that she'd been reading a book by somebody called Colonel Churchward. He was born in about 1850. He worked for the army as, I think you'd call it an encryptologist, somebody who breaks codes. Yeah? And he'd been going all around the world studying, and he'd found out some amazing things that all over the world, if you went to really ancient sites, you'd sometimes find the same symbols would appear. And this was one of the symbols that he'd discovered, and he found it in what he considered to be the place where Lemuria was, which is sometimes called Mu. And so it's very much like the Ankh, don't you think? The only difference is that the cross carries on into it, so you can see that it's a hybrid, really, between the cross and the Ankh. Well, in the Theramai system, we had a way of doubling up symbols so that they were very symmetrical. And also, when I'm doing symbols, I tend to use my left and right hand simultaneously. So this seemed like a really good way of working with the Ankhs to develop a double Ankh symbol. This is called Ankh in, and I'll show you very quickly the Ankh out. That's Ankh out, and that's Ankh in. Oh, I've gone on to the next one now. Oops. So Ankh in and Ankh out. So what I'm going to suggest we do now is just have all of you have a go at drawing the Ankhs in front of you. Now before you draw them, some of you may be thinking that you would like to get out of this room very fast. So the door is open. If you're prepared to give it a go, suspend your belief system, okay? Because it's very hard for us to imagine that you could draw something and the energy where you've drawn it will change, okay? A percentage of you won't feel anything, but quite a high percentage of you will, and some of you will be quite surprised by what you feel, okay? So what you need to do is take, actually you do it with cone fingers, but you might find it easier to just use one finger, maybe your 2 index fingers. Start off by drawing from the top down 2 vertical lines. Then put your fingers outside and bring them to the inside. Well done. And now go to the point where you think they cross and take both fingers outwards and back to the middle. And that's your Ankh in. Now this is an empowerment symbol. So now if you have suspended your belief and you can actually just visualise that there might be something hanging in the air in front of you, then try and see if you can tune into that energy. You might want to put your hands where it was. If you do, you might notice a change in temperature, you might get slight tingling, you might close your eyes, see a particular colour. Some of you might feel the symbol is pulling you towards it, some might feel it's repelling you. You might find if you focus on it and just tune into your body that a part of your body gets your attention somewhere. Can anybody feel anything? Yeah? Is there anybody who can't feel anything? No? Okay. Let me try drawing it for you. Sorry, I'm disappearing now. I don't know if you can film me because we haven't got your permission to be in the film. Okay, now just feel that. Don't have to go off screen though. Can you feel that now? Now the only difference with the way I've drawn it is just because I had more belief, maybe you had more belief that I could do it. You could do it. Now does anybody feel a change of emotion about tuning into the symbol? No? Do you get any colours?
I felt a lot of comfort.
You felt calmed? Yeah, calm and comfort. Lovely. Anybody else? No? I mean it is an empowering symbol. So remember you've come here because this talk was empower yourself with the energy of ancient Egypt. So if you really want empowering, you could literally just step right into it. So that your head is where the symbol was drawn. Or you can just pull the symbol towards you. Give it a go. Did you feel anything as it came towards you? Yeah? And it's important to give your positive intent as well, that you are intending to receive something beneficial and something empowering from it as well. So the Ankh in is a symbol that I decided would go before other symbols. So it's the symbol you draw first, then you do your main symbol, and then you do your Ankh out, which is like the sending or finishing the full stop type process. So that's the sequence. And so going back to my story, I am the Harry Hill of the industry, so I like to have several stories going at once. You have to try and remember where I was. So going back to the story, my sister made this comment that Ankhs might replace Choku rays. So I thought, oh, I wonder if we were doing an attunement, if we were to change the Choku ray symbols to Ankhs, would that make the whole attunement a little bit more Egyptian? So at that point in time, the whole thing was a pure hypothesis. It's just something I just thought I might do one day. Anyway. The Ankh out. Later we discovered this other symbol, Permanekher, and again I'll come back to the meaning of that. But this is a 3-dimensional pyramid, and actually the Sekh Em course that I learnt, Sekh Em as they called it, it did incorporate a similar symbol, but it wasn't quite the same. But that's one of our main empowerment symbols.